Hi, I'm Craig Wilson Fraser, co-author of John Draper's biography, Beyond the Little Blue Box, and you're listening to the Scene World podcast.
Hey, Scene World
Silly is the
podcast.
new normal.
What?
Silly is the new normal.
Yes, that is correct. And actually, that's actually sort of what my news is about.
But before though,
before that, yes, this is the Scene
yeah,
World podcast. I'm AJ. That's Jörg. In a minute, we're going to be talking to Irata.
Exactly, talking about copy parties, game cracking, early 80s, all the forbidden stuff.
So,
That's one we wanted to do since a long while.
Started this thing.
Yeah, and now we are finally stepping into this. It's a phone interview that AJ hasn't been a part of, unfortunately.
I missed
it. But it went well. It went very well.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, start with the silly news.
My silly news is that vintage is the new old, which is down. Well, or no, it's still there. It's still there, but it has been kind of reborn as what it used to be.
.org. Yeah.
But vintage is the new old. The domain is currently for sale for $24,610.
Wow.
So if you wanna order that, if you want to buy that domain, vintageisthenewOld.com, apparently you can purchase it from Otis.
Oh yeah, one of those brokers. Domain brokers. Yeah.
It shows when you go to the website, it pops up on the top like this domain is currently for sale. Buy now and currently.
It's domain brokers.
Yeah,
like our sceneworld64.de used to be 4,000 euros. Now you can get it for 980 euros.
Oh, we've devalued.
Yeah, we revalued. Yeah, but still, I like sceneworld.org more.
Yeah.
The reason why we lost sceneworld64.org is actually that the domain provider went out of business. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and back then, you had to cancel it at DNIC, the domain registration from Germany, using a fax. Good old times.
Good old times, yeah.
Yeah.
The fax
good
machines.
Old times, fax machines. Well, so that's
what you got.
That's what I got also. So we can
it.
skip that one. Yeah. Anyway, Anita Sarkeesian, the one that was fighting for more equality in video games regarding females, has shut down Feminist Frequency after 15 years in operation. Reasoning was burnout and other reasons. So unfortunately, that's shut down. It was a non-profit for 15 years. And but it's told that the YouTube channel will still release stuff once in a while.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, well, and on the other hand, I have a follow-up. When Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge was released, we also discussed with our guest if they would make a follow-up, and they said no, but they are working on a DLC, which has been released now. It's called Dimension Shell Shock.
Okay.
Yes. And last news,
Starfield. So that's the Ninja Turtles where they got like the original cartoon voices and everything from, and they actually a really good game on Steam. I actually downloaded it and purchased it and whatnot. It's a really solid game.
It is, yeah. And now it has this DLC.
Awesome.
And also,
you can see our interview with them. in the podcast.
Sure, certainly. We have been on the asses of .emu to make it happen.
Yeah.
Remember that bit? Mm-hmm. Going back and forth with France.
Yeah.
Finally, yeah. Other news, after 25 years, Bethesda released a new universe, a new franchise called Starfield.
Ah, yes.
Everybody's talking about it.
I have heard less than great things about it.
It depends. What I heard was wonderful. I guess it depends who you ask.
Well, okay, so the person that I spoke to that had tried it said that it's not really a space game. It's like Fallout 4 set in space.
Well, it's an RPG, not a space simulator.
Yeah, and when it comes to graphics and flight model, Starfield's flight consists of you selecting a planet within a menu and then fast traveling to it via a loading screen. So you can't fly in an atmosphere, you can't land on planets. It's all a cutscene.
Well, I haven't been that far in the game yet, so I can't really say. But you're right. It's not really a No Man's Sky kind of game.
Yeah.
It's more like an RPG, a role-playing game. That is actually what Bethesda is selling it as.
Yeah.
And I know that firsthand because I have been the pleasure to be in this official press release presentation at Gamescom in the business area of Bethesda, together with all the German YouTuber and Twitch C-tier VIPs and getting this presentation thrown at. So they are really selling it as an RPG, not as a No Man's Sky or Wing Commander or something. So yeah.
Well, Wing Commander is pretty RPG.
Yeah, but nah, it's really more like fighting in the dock and stuff. I mean, it depends. It depends.
Mm-hmm.
The Wing Commander 4 and 5 has RPG parts, elements, because you can decide in which direction you want the story to go.
The original, the very first RPG, the very first Wing Commander was more RPG. Yeah, you're in space. You're walking around making your choices. After that, Wing Commander 3 and 4 and whatnot was basically watching a movie with occasional dogfighting.
Yeah,
with good acting by Mark Hamill, and
Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah. Got to give them credit. My friend Andre and I used to play that on the original PlayStation back in the day.
I played it on PC.
So it's they were good games. It was some of the first to use the full motion video and not have it suck.
Yeah, but on the PC, Wing Commander was earlier 1 year. Command and Conquer was 1 year earlier than.
I didn't say it was the first. 4. I said it's one of the first to use full motion video and not have it suck.
Actually, one of the first was Dune, and not the Dune strategy game, which was released at Dune 2, but Dune the adventure game.
No, I don't.
That had an FMV sequence at the start. Amazingly, yeah. But then came Wing Commander 3, and then came Command and Conquer, and then came Wing Commander 4.
Yeah, Wing Commander 3 was pretty much almost all. I mean, it was just just you're watching a movie, and every so often you go out and you fight a thing, then you come back and you watch another movie. It was, it was a lot of video, and not to say that it's bad. It's just it's.
Right.
It's just a lot of full motion. It's almost the entire game was full motion video, from what I recall. It's been a while since I've played them.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Anyway, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And now let's go to Irata. Boom boom.
Okay.
Today we are having another interview for our podcast, and as a guest we have an old famous cracker, Irata, from TriStar and Red Sector. Hello.
Hello.
Nice
Yeah,
to talk to you finally.
on the beginning, it just was not really Red Sector, not even TSI. It was just Fresh Tracking Group. That's my first group in the early 80s.
So how did it actually start out in the early 80s? How did you get your Commodore 64 and so on? What was the starting point?
The starting point was I made a practicum at my dad's company, and from this money I bought my first 64 with dataset.
Okay.
And the first hotspot points here in Düsseldorf, it was Photo Koch, then a store called Horten, and local shop of Quelle. That was the really beginning. That was in 1983.
Wow. Actually, a few months after the Commodore was released in Germany. The Z64.
I even don't know. I think it was released in 1982.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
November, I believe.
Yeah, but I don't have any sponsors. I just buy it from my own money I earn in the holidays, and yeah. But it was okay for the beginning. It gets in the beginning a lot of tape tracks because I only have a tape deck to copy the files. There was no floppy, and so I was always interested in one part games because you can't load it from the data setter if it's several parts. So I have a collection of tapes with turbo tape with the loader. And yeah, I just load it in the computer and then save it to the data setter on a normal audio tape. That was the really beginning. People of the newer days even can't imagine how hard it was in the really early days. And
I mean, in the early days, you even didn't have any fast loader or speed tape system, so it was really slow.
Only turbo tape. It was a loader for tapes. I think it's still around the people who are still using the data setter. It's like a fast loader for tapes, not for this. It was just for tapes. And yeah, end of '83, I met a guy in Karst. He was a friend of my cousin, and later on he was our supplier on the PC a long time ago. And then we start to go to Venlo every month. Every month we drive from Düsseldorf to Venlo in '83. And yeah, then it was a really copy session. You copy all the new games in Venlo, but it always was really bad cracks, and so the society here in Düsseldorf or around Düsseldorf, they always made really quality versions. And that was my source in the beginning. I don't have any sources for original or have any people who get really fast originals. And yeah, we just start like this.
So it was actually copy parties.
Yeah, it was copy parties, but yeah, there was no really scene in Europe. It was always local scenes. Here in Düsseldorf or North Rhine-Westphalia was a special port. Then in Italy was F4CG, who also track the same games like us, but even we don't have any contact to them, or there are no any boards to that time, so we don't know that they release the same games like us. It was always local hotspots.
Okay. So how did you become aware of the people around you? As I said, F4G from other countries. How did that start?
It starts because the people from Düsseldorf always think I'm an arrogant guy, and in the beginning I want to join a group local, basically on Düsseldorf and around Düsseldorf. But even if this don't working, I just looking forward to some foreign contacts. And that was also the reason why the founder from Alpha Flight mentioned me as the founder of Alpha Flight, because they don't want to do something together, and that was the reason why the group was born.
Interesting. Okay, I see. And unfortunately, I'm too young to remember that, to know that. But I think, especially in the early days, you had a lot of risk of getting caught by the police and stuff.
No, not in the early days of 83 or 84. Nobody cares about this, because they even don't recognize that it's a computer people were using.
So only the nerds, the youngsters used computers, and the older generation didn't even know what a computer was about. So.
Yeah, and it just grow from week to week, and I get in touch with the people from Netherlands, like 1001 Crew or Future Project. I got my best contact in England, T-Side Tracking Service, and it just grew from point to point. And it was, a really trust community, because it was so close that even they know each other. And it's different to the scene of today. Today, the internet and everything around this, it's so easy to get in touch with people. And this was the problem in the really beginning. Also, to code some stuff, there was nothing. There were no dev kits or anything. You always have to code your own tools, and that's different to the time of today. Yeah, but I think it was something special in the beginning, because the people and the friends I know from these days, even I lost the contact for 10 or 15 years, and I met them again. It was the same feeling like in the beginning, and I really disappointed of the scene of today. That's not the same. For sure, you can't move back to the old days. And I'm not the guy who always says, okay, the old times was really better than today, but a few things was really cool, and always think that new inspiration of today and the good ones from the past would be a really good advantage for the future.
So how did you get in touch with people, basically, then? Did you get the addresses and the contacts of people from abroad that you mentioned earlier by Discmax, or?
No, there was no Discmax to that time. In 83, there was no Discmax. No, that you trading or you swapping with people, and then you just ask them, can you ask your friend if I also can swap with him, and then they ask them, and then they send you the address. That was
so it
easy.
was word of mouth, actually, basically. Okay.
Yeah, it was just community inside, and it was not so competition like today. They were in different groups, but they always do some projects together. It was not the main point to release for your own route. It just was a feeling to the community together. And I don't know. It's really different today of the scene of today. And I don't know.
What was the turning point? Where did the early days end and the newer cracking days begin? What
I think I think it was when American groups start modem trading, they destroy a lot of things. And the European people think it's a major thing to run a group worldwide, but it was not always the best way to do it. If you have some smaller groups who don't have the connections to the mailboxes or to call overseas, they just release some stuff by mail trading, but if they lost the community because you don't send it out by mail anymore because they're always uploaded to the mailboxes, I don't know. It was not the major thing, I think, but sure, the time passing and you going back to the past, you always think, okay, that was a mistake to do it, but yeah, I know, but that was the time that Earth always moving ahead, you know.
So you think the BBS scene, especially from America, changed a lot?
Yeah, even the people from Fairlight and from Icrea, they destroy it, because to my time, the cracks from the American groups, they were so bad cracked, and that was the reason, because when I kicked out of Flash Tracking Group, I joined Red Sector, and it was a Canadian import, mostly a hacker group. They don't crack so much. And there was a conference of Bill Best, of the founder for Red Sector in Canada, Mr. Littlepage and me, and they thought, okay, I know a supplier in England who have the original, and I'm sure think he can do better cracks to send it to our good friends, and it's even faster than the board scene will release it. And that was the point of founding a global community. And I think the people from Canada, they are more European spirit like the Europeans himself.
It's interesting, okay. I didn't
Yeah,
know
but
that.
and the main thing of the interview for me, when I talked to NodePoint a long time ago, was when I don't know, I don't want that I going to die in the next 3 months, but when you don't start somewhere of the starters, they get lost.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any community how it really was, then people telling informations and nobody can trust if it's true or not.
That's
that was
actually true, yes. That is the reason why we do those interviews, to preserve the stories and the history of how things have been. And I figured, especially in the theme of cracking from the 80s, a lot of people telling me like, no, I don't want to talk about it, and I'm afraid of what people might think if I tell them I cracked cartridges, discs, and tape releases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they always talk to each other. It was not really public, but it's still going the way, maybe really slow, but the information even goes around to maybe people who didn't have to know it. And yeah, I don't know. It's a different sign, see how it works in the really future or in the middle of the 80s. There was really major changes. And yeah, I don't know.
It's interesting that you mention it, because I remember back in Vandalism News, I've read that there was a point where people were saying the cracking scene is going to die, especially in '93. But if I look at your profile in the Commodore Scene database, especially in '93, you had a lot of activity originally as a player.
Yeah, but that was always a local supply. I don't have any fast suppliers in UK or whatever. It was just local shops, and I always try to get some new games, but it was nothing compared to the major groups. But I really don't care because we do our own quality releases for our own and for our friends, and that was the thing what was important for me.
Yeah.
And it was not really the Hall of Fame because I released now 10 games as first. That was in the beginning. It was not important because we tracked the same games like maybe Triad did, and Triad sent me their versions and I sent them our versions, and the versions who was quality best was the major thing. What's important, not the first release. And I don't know, this really changed over the years.
Yeah, especially when original games became scarce and really seldom. I guess that is where the competition started, because you have less games, so there's more competition to get it out faster.
Yeah, but faster is not always the best. It's in everything. If you don't care really on quality, sometimes it's going in the wrong way. And the new people, if they see how it works, because they just see fast releases, bad quality, they think it's normal. They don't know the real thing, what really it's important. And it's not their fault because they don't grow up and they don't know the history. I don't know.
So, what is your opinion about groups like Remember or Nostalgia who are doing golden releases?
I've seen it. I've seen it's a cool way, but they did the same like we did in the beginning. We always do good versions, and today it's also really hard because there are not so many games coming out anymore. And why not? To do a good versions again.
Exactly. Yes. You told me at the beginning you started out as a cracker for games using tape.
No, I just collect them because there was the only possibility to keep him. That was the problem. And I don't start as a cracker. I start as a swapper in the really early days. That was my really beginning. And the other things to do, how to organize a worldwide group or a worldwide community, the main thing I learned from the Canadian people. They taught me how to do it. They care about friendship, and the Canadian section even get busted for phone freaking, and that's why the group go down in Canada, and we have to decide to continue, and we don't know how to do it because it was just me and Mr. Zirbage, and I just being in touch with the Canadian people about 3 or 4 years ago, and Bill Best, that's no real alias, it's really his name. It's Bill Best. That's his normal name.
Interesting.
And and these people, they created how to call worldwide. Without this possibility, the world won't be the same and grow up like a worldwide network in the beginning. And I think a lot of things have moved and changed for that the people can connect everywhere in the world, and it was an advantage.
Yeah, I always had to wait weeks until I got an answer when I sent out some new game cracks or demos or something, and it always took 4 weeks to get an answer from Australia or something. That was super extreme.
For me, it was always cool because I living in Düsseldorf, and Düsseldorf had a good airport. And if you're living in a town who have airport, the sendings going to the destination even faster. And that's why I get some productions or some sendings from people even faster. But I always when I send some this maybe to try, it was maybe one sending a week, and I got 7 or 8 sendings a week from Try It. They were crazy.
Oh yeah, the Swedes,
yeah. Yeah, but they did a good job, and I'm thinking that also was starting with the Swedish people. I trade with Swedish tracking group. That was my first Swedish contact. And later on, I started that cooperation with Def Jam, which was also located in Sweden. Mm-hmm. So I always have a good port to the Swedish people. And I like them.
The special thing about Try It in particular is they made a good transition some years when they were in the late 90s, very little amount of new games. They actually made a good transition to turning out being more of a demo making group.
Yeah, that was my reason also, because when I returned to the scene in 2003, I even tried to continue like we did before on the tracking scene, but there was no point to arrange something really to the big groups anymore. And then I was the decision to change it to the legal scene again, and it was just a major change. But I still love to join the group, and I'm one of the founder, and I don't want that it goes down that way. And even the funny thing is, we don't release anything for 4, 5, 6 years, and the other groups, they talking shit about us because they angry that we don't lost all our members or our community, even we don't release anything. It's so funny. And it was a strong community of really friendship. It was not really the point to release things. It was a community together of friends. And releases is not everything.
That's true. Yeah. Especially Mayday, that you are part of, it was just founded like 11 years ago, which is not that old, actually.
Yeah, okay. But if you talk to the new people, if they mentioned, I'm a really long time member of the group, and then ask them, how long are you a member of the group? 6 months.
Oh.
Okay, they have another sign of the world of the time rising, I don't know. And I just joined Mayday because my birthday is on the 3rd of April. And on the 3rd of April, it's always a Mayday party here in Dortmund. And that was the point. I was a honor member of the Mayday people, and I really liked them, and they are good friends, and that was a major thing to join a group. But for me, the time it's over to be part of a group. I just wanna enjoy even at last my last period of my life to have a good time with my friends. That's the major thing of life, to have a good time and to enjoy your friendship. And even in our crazy world, who always only counts of money and things like this, It was not really a point of my life, even I was working for the Telegram or whoever. It was just earning money to buy things. It was not my major thing of my life spirit.
I totally understand. The thing is, actually, I remember when I joined the scene, that was actually in 98. There was a lot of, oh, you are a lamer, you are too young to be a part of the scene and doing something with potential gain and so on. And I think it's actually the people that came after the early generation that is actually keeping up what we have nowadays. So I find that always a bit sad when I see fights like, elite against newbies and lamers.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't take this really serious. Because when you start in the scene, you're not even in 1 week on the top. You grow up some way.
Exactly.
And it takes time to do it. And I really don't like this newbies stuff or lamers or elite or something. Yeah, it even was the writing on the boards or in the scene himself. If people don't react as normally, they have to talk shit about the things, and I don't know. It's not my really sign of life today or in the past. And I even was too busy with all my stuff. I was a major original supplier and organizer. I don't have time to talk on the boards on this shit. It was so many things to do. And it was funny. I talked to some really old school people from Munich a long time ago, and they even saw my handle Irata. It was not one guy, it was a group, because I do so much in the beginning. They even think I'm a really group. But it wasn't. That wasn't the thing. Yeah, it's funny to hear this after all this years.
Yes, at your release list, it's true. You actually did quite a few releases in the 80s and 90s under your own handle alone. Yeah.
Yeah, that was always the stuff who was too bad for the major groups.
Okay.
And I talked to Biermacht because they were on 64. They were in the group The Fall Guys. I don't know if you know that. And he told me 2 years ago on the work that I'd mentioned on the 64 for 1,650 releases.
Wow.
Not only the releases I did for my group, it was also mentioned in the scroller, in the greetings, everything. So if you go on PokeFinder and search for my name, you will find a lot of things. And it's really crazy because this was so many releases I even can't remember. It's 40 years ago. Yeah, I don't know.
So there's a lot more that you released and were a part of than you can see in Commodore Scene database.
Yeah. It's not. I also think I really don't like the Scene database because
really? Okay.
Because there are too much power of people who have to arrange those things. They're voting people down just because they want to do it, and it's not a real competition anymore. And
yes, of course, the Commodore Scene database is really controversial. Yeah.
Yeah, the best thing would be the internet site would go down, and people have to create a new way to join the community. If it's lost, I don't know. I don't want to take it away from the people because I know they really communicate over this thing, and a lot of things are really cool. But I know it also has some bad points of it. And if it's too much political power involved of maybe a few people who decide how it works, I don't know.
Yeah, I get your point. I get your point.
I don't know if it's what I really still love for this, but for sure, I even start not to log on these systems anymore because it's too bad feelings about this. I don't want to see it anymore. I even have bad feelings when I look at TV. There are too much bad news even. I don't need this in the scene anymore.
Yeah.
Even.
But I think the thing with Commodore Scene database is it would be bad if it goes down because of all the information and releases you have there. If you want something better, you first need a replacement. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Who else is ready to start from zero?
Yeah, but replacement for which people? If people like me who die somewhere, for what will you do it? For the next generation? There are not so many people who to join the scene like in my time.
That's true.
That's true. When you see on the parties, always the same old people. Okay, now on Evoke they create a competition for a really youngster who just 12 or 30 years old. I really like it that Toby did this. But it's not the same amount of people who will continue.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The scene will die out.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know. I think just enjoy the time like it is, and enjoy the path and the fun you have. And okay. I think that's the major point of it.
Anyway, is there any stories you could tell us from the early 80s that are perhaps interesting to preserve?
There are so many stories, but I really have to take my time to think about because it's so long time ago, and a lot of old people I even can't contact and ask them because they don't care anymore about the scene.
Yeah.
So for me, it's different to do it. I don't know. I gave also an interview to Dipswitch and to some people who want to release a book, which was never released. But
bad.
I always gave him my network to do it, the project. But I don't know. I'm not alone in the world. If they don't do it together, it even don't work.
True. But you don't have to worry about it. This interview will definitely get out.
Okay, and I hope people will enjoy it. And maybe not the new ones, but maybe the old people imagine what I'm talking about, and maybe they think of today, and maybe there are some major changes to make it better for the future. That it's my hope. If I'm talking about the time and I don't know.
It's interesting that you mention it because earlier we had an interview with Kelsey Newman, who is actually co-president and founder of the Video Game History Foundation. And she is 27, and she learns about the NES games from the 80s, so way before she was even born. So there are people in their 20s looking back at the 80s and looking at what was there back then. Not many perhaps, but there are people being interested in the time before they were born.
Yeah, but this is the same in the electronic music scene. People playing tracks which are so old, and the original producers of it, they say, hey, this track I produced in the 80s or in the 90s, and they played on a really big festival, and people, they just enjoy this track like we did in the 90s, but they even don't know because they even wasn't born to that time when the track was born. And I think it's a good way to look on the past and just to get some new inspiration for it. And
which is
sometimes
a good question. What is your new inspiration?
My new inspiration, I don't know. I like communities with friends. I like electronic music forever, and I even grew up with my parents, which was also really in music business. Like they doing on parties on the jazz music, and they gave it to me as advantage because when I was 8 or 9, I even know every jazz tracks people mentioned as classic. I even know them all because my father just played it on his vinyl player, and it was just a growing up. I came from jazz to EBM music, and later on then to electronic music into techno, and I love electronic music. That's my music. And I even know so many people, even besides the scene, because they're also running beside what we did. I even help out really a lot of people with white labels and gave it to them, and they even don't know what they have to do with this. But when I talked in the last few years, they really recognized, really thank you for all this white labels. It was inspiration for me and my inspiration to create music. And sometimes it's really strange because sometimes I just do things I even don't know what it has to help out. And later on, some people join together and just do new projects on it. And I even don't know, I just gave it as a tool to them, but it was not my intention to do it. I just do it, but I even don't know why I do it. And sometimes I'm maybe too light years ahead, and I see things which nobody else thinks. I'm no producer or coder, but I also a creative guy because I have a lot of ideas. And I just share it with friends, and some things you can do it for projects, but a lot of things also you can't use it. But I don't care because it's always maybe 50 or 20% I gave to them, and they produce something new for it.
Nice.
But the main thing is mostly people think I'm arrogant asshole, and they even don't know what person I'm really being because they don't know me. They have their meaning of me, and they even don't know me.
Yeah. I guess I know what you mean. So prejudgment is horrible. Yeah, people tend to put people into boxes and have their opinions before even meeting a person. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't care about this shit anymore. I'm now 85 years old, and I don't have the time to waste my time on this shit.
I hope you mean 58.
Yeah, 58. Yeah. Okay.
Because you said 85, it was like
Oh no, 58. That's why I don't speak for ages no English anymore.
No problem. Yeah. I can cut that out. Not a big deal. Anyway, so I heard we are going to see each other this year because you will be coming to Gamescom for a day. I heard, right?
Yeah, I hope it's working right now this year, because last year I even can get a ticket but I don't have a really new telephone, and I even can install the app to get ticket to buy it electronic.
Oh yes, that should be possible, because this year you can do it from a computer. You don't need to have an app.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no problem to go to learn to get the ticket, and yeah, it would be great to be one day to meet some friends. I even just want to join the retro hall, because the other halls with the new games, so that's not my word anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really cool. It's now, I think, even 4,000 blood. How do you say? It's really big hall right now. And I think it's even an own party besides the Gamescom, I think. Because
yes, you're right. The red area is always considered the most liked part of Gamescom, actually.
Yeah. Because, okay, I was invited to the Amiga 37 last year, because Factor 5 gave me a ticket, and yeah, that was really cool.
Will you be there this year as well?
I hope so. I don't talk to Lutz the last month or so, because he was too busy, and now he's really ill because of nothing special. But I have to talk to him again, because he always get me a ticket, because it all was last year. It was already sold out.
Yeah, that's the thing. A friend of mine got me a ticket in time. So if you are there, then we would meet 2 times this year, actually.
Yeah, it would be great. I really I saw Scene World as a release on the 64 database. You can use it with a 64 browser to click the menu in the browser on the 64. That was really cool.
Exactly. Yes,
and I don't think many people really know this.
Yes.
When I was active on Facebook, I always support the magazine on Instagram or my Facebook fan site, because I really like the Mac. So
awesome. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, but that's no deal. I just do it for my friends. I don't want to have anything back what I'm doing. I just do it to help them out.
Awesome.
Even they don't really imagine it. Just later on, they know what I did.
Awesome.
Yeah. I tried to call Notepoint the last 2 days, but then he told me, okay, I have to go to Switzerland.
Yeah, he told me the same. He said he can't be part of this interview today.
Yeah, because
like, okay, so I have to do it alone.
Yeah, because I was thinking of no working hardware. I just go into his place, and we could do it at his place. That was no problem. But if he is too busy, it's hard. But I think if you release this audio interview, it's really, yeah, it's like the old days, because in '83 there was no video calling people.
That's true.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because it's something authentic to it.
I remember as a kid, we even didn't have mobile phones. We had to go to a phone booth to call home.
Yeah.
And insert coins and then stuff. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I even have a dialer for my Blue Box program I got from the Canadian people, and I always go to my phone booth on my neighbor street and call worldwide with Blue Boxing from the telephone.
Wow. Yeah.
That was really funny. It was so crazy time, because my best hacking supplier, he just lives in the neighbor street where I'm living. And yeah, people even can't remember how close it was in our good times, that they all know them, and just live really close to them.
Yeah, and I remember back then the phone call qualities were horrible. I remember, can you understand me? Hello? Hello? Like, oh my god. I remember when we were in a holiday at Denmark and we were supposed to call home to let my grandparents know that we arrived safely. They barely could understand what we were saying because the connection was so bad.
Yeah, but the infrastructure wasn't so set up to that time.
Exactly.
And today the telephone network in Denmark is much better than our telephone network.
That's also very true.
Yeah, but I really have a lot of knowledge of this because I'm working for the telecom for 20 years, and I really know all history, how to build it up. When I start at the telecom, there were many rooms just for the dialing thing. It was always no digital, and it's a really major changes over the years.
Yeah, it all became digital.
Yeah, but today I don't know because I'm working for the network for the telecom who was a bridge between the new companies and the telecom. If you have a problem, or if it's a problem to transport the call from one net to the next one, there was a lot of things which were working wrong, and in that time I'm working for that. Nobody of these new companies even really have any knowledge to solve this much of it. And I really think that was not a good point for the German government that they just go special the open scene. Of course, it was a good point to open the market, but it was always bad quality. And because the telecom always have to pay the money for the new companies, and they get their fraud, but the telecom have to grow it up and investigate the network. And I think that was not the really fair way to do it. And but that's the point. If you too engage in internal things, people don't really know, and they even don't care anymore about this. And I think that's the major trouble of today, that people really just want to make money, but don't want to care about the quality.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know, I even would pay even some more money if it's a good product, and if it's don't fucked up in the next weeks.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I remember the early days of voice over internet protocol. That was horrible. I remember phone calls disconnecting all the time and stuff, and really bad voice quality. I remember those early days when they made the switch from analog to digital. It barely worked.
Yeah, but in the beginning, it just was rented lines. Today, it's all in the internet.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's even not better because you can't control a lot of things. You don't know why the system fucked up, and that was in the time I'm working for the telecom even more approved, that they always have to look at it to keep up the quality. Yeah, but the world is still moving around. You can't stop it. That's the point.
Yeah, I guess you are totally correct here. Yes, but it's good that you're keeping it up and that you are still active and keeping the thing alive. and hopefully there will be a bright future. Who
yeah,
knows?
I hope so. I hope so too. Yeah.
Awesome. So, is there any other place where people can find the stuff you did than Commodore, Scene Database, and Poke Finder? Or are those actually the two main places?
When DipSearch starts that project with his printing these letters and is about the letters we send around, I help him a lot with a lot of letters, and my friends from the movers, they have tons of letters in their rooms, and there was a lot of letters I sent to 1001 Crew or other people, and when he scan it, he say, "Oh, I get again a letter from you. You sent to this guy or to this guy," and the funny thing is, a long time ago, I create a letter and I made it like the milk program did today. I just wrote it down on a letter. I mentioned people, note to this guy and note to this guy and note to this guy, and it was just a real live chat on a letter.
Yeah, that's actually true that many people don't know. You used to have multiple people addressed in the same note just by saying at this person, at that person. Yeah. Yeah. I totally remember.
Yeah. So,
awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.